Iceland has declared a state of emergency after a series of powerful earthquakes struck the country's southwestern region in what could be a precursor to a volcanic eruption.
아이슬란드 남서부 지역의 화산 폭발의 전조로 보이는 강한 지진이 잇따라 일어나면서 당국이 비상사태를 선포했습니다. Tell us more, Paul.
It's a little worrying. The Icelandic Met Office said there could be an eruption taking place in several days. They don't know, they can't be accurate, they can't pinpoint it. But what we have seen is in the village of Grindavik, which is very nearby where this earthquake swarm was registered, they're getting ready to evacuate if necessary. There were two strong earthquakes that were felt as far away as Reykjavik, which is 40 kilometers away from the site.
That's the capital.
Exactly. And the biggest tremor had a magnitude of 5.2. So it's fairly large earthquakes here. And the Icelandic Met Office have also said there's an accumulation of magma underground at a depth about 5 kilometers. Iceland has the highest number of active volcanic systems in Europe, 33 of them. So eruptions are, not necessarily common, but they do happen relatively frequently. We've seen 3 in the past couple of years. In March 2021, August 2022, and July 2023, we could be in for another eruption in Iceland. And if you remember, quite a few years ago, one eruption from Iceland meant that planes weren't able to fly across the Atlantic. There was too much dust and smoke and everything.
Well, first of all, this is according to the Icelandic Met Office. That's the meteorological administration in Iceland.
Yes. Now, you have to be careful about Met, because Met can be the shortening of meteorological, but it can also be the shortening of metropolitan.
Yeah.
So, for example, in London, they talk about the Met, meaning the police, the metropolitan police, the city police.
Yeah.
But here we're talking about weather, so it's meteorological office.
Right. 자, 아이슬란드에서는 기상청의 이름이 IMO, Icelandic Met Office 이렇게 부르네요. 자, 거기서 지금 어쩌면은 며칠 내로 마그마 분출도 있을 수도 있다. 이렇게 지금 경고를 하고 있는 건데 실제로 아이슬란드에는 33개의 이 활화산이 있다고 합니다. Active volcanic systems, which is, again, worrying to a certain extent. But right now, we're not seeing anything erupt, although they're saying it could. There could be some magma.
Yeah, well, that's what they're expecting, and so people are on alert. Evacuation plans have been made, so if anything does happen, hopefully everyone will remain safe.
Let's look at this first expression here, a series of earthquakes.
Yes, if we have a series of something, it means it's one after another, after another, after another. In the same way, we talk about a TV series because you have one episode after another. Usually 16 in Korea, I think, is the usual number. So a series of something means there's a number of something and they're happening consecutively.
Yep. And in sports as well, you have a series of certain titles, and that means it happens again and again.
Yes, so I would say, is this a series morning special? It does go on consecutively. The problem is it never stops.
Right.
So therefore, we wouldn't call it a series so much, but you can talk about some programs being series, meaning they have a beginning and an end, and they happen week after week after week.
네. 프로그램도 우리가 무슨 시리즈 이렇게 말하죠. 그 시리즈인데요. 1년의 무엇 할 때 a series of something 이렇게 표현을 합니다. 자, 그다음에 전조 증상, a precursor to something.
We had on the back of, and here a precursor is pretty similar. It's something that's going to happen before something else happens. It's the warning sign. It tells us that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Whereas on the back of, it's A happens because of B. The precursor is A, and then B happens.
Precursor가 이런 전조인데요. 예문을 통해서 좀 더 확실하게 배워볼까요?
This formal agreement is a precursor to a full deal with our rival company.
이 공식 합의서는 이제 앞으로 우리가 경쟁사와 갖게 될 full 계약서의 어떤 그런 앞서서 있는 단계다. 전조라고 여기서 말하기보다는 어떤 그 앞단계 이렇게 해석을 하는 게 좀 더 의역해서 자연스러울 것 같습니다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. Iceland has declared a state of emergency after a series of powerful earthquakes struck the country's southwestern region in what could be a precursor to a volcanic eruption.